Ever wondered what it takes to rise from a humble blacksmith to the hero who saves the world? Join Arian on his epic journey as he discovers his true heritage, battles the ultimate darkness, and wields the legendary sword, Arias. Don't miss this thrilling tale of destiny, magic, and courage. If you're ready for an adventure, hit that subscribe button and dive into the story with us. The Lost Sword. Chapter 1. The Quiet Life in the Village. In a small, remote village at the edge of the empire, Arian led a simple life as a blacksmith. He had grown up under the care of Master Varen, a seasoned blacksmith who had taken him in as a child. Arian's days were repetitive, spent shaping metal into tools and weapons for the villagers. Though he was skilled, Arian always felt a void, a sense that he was meant for something more. This feeling grew stronger when strange red markings began to appear on his skin whenever he worked near the forge's fire. The marks glowed faintly, almost as if they were alive, reacting to the heat and flame. At first, Arian dismissed them as tricks of the light, but the marks became more vivid and persistent with each passing day. Then the dreams began. In the dead of night, Arian would see visions of a majestic sword, glowing with a golden light, embedded in stone. He heard whispers urging him to find the sword, warning him of a great darkness that threatened to engulf the world. The voice in his dreams was ethereal, neither male nor female, but filled with an urgent need. Unable to ignore these signs, Arian confided in Master Varen, who revealed a truth that shook Arian to his core. "You are not just a blacksmith, Arian," Varen said, his voice heavy with years of kept secrets. "You are the last descendant of a royal line, a bloodline tied to a great and powerful artifact, the sword known as Arias." Realizing his life had been a lie, Arian knew he could no longer remain in the village. Guided by his dreams and the marks on his skin, he decided to leave and seek out the sword. The villagers, though unaware of his true heritage, noticed the change in him and respected his decision. They watched as he packed his belongings and prepared for a journey into the unknown. Chapter 2. The Journey Through the Ghostwood. Arian's journey led him to the Ghostwood, a dark and foreboding forest filled with ancient magic. The air was thick with mist, and the trees loomed like silent sentinels, their branches twisted and gnarled. The forest was known for its illusions, and Arian had to stay vigilant as he made his way through. As he ventured deeper, Arian began to see visions, ghostly figures and echoes of past battles fought in the woods. The whispers from his dreams grew louder, guiding him through the maze of trees and shadows. But the forest was not without its challenges. The ground seemed to shift beneath his feet, and the path was never clear. In the heart of the Ghostwood, Arian encountered Selena, a reclusive sorceress who had long lived in the woods, guarding its secrets. She recognized the marks on his skin and the determination in his eyes. "You seek Arias," she said, her voice carrying the weight of centuries. "The sword has been waiting for you, but you must face the trials ahead alone." Selena gave Arian an ancient map, its surface covered in runes that only he could decipher. "This map will guide you to the mountain where the sword lies hidden," she explained. Your bloodline grants you the ability to read it, but the path is treacherous. Trust in your instincts and your heritage. With Selena's guidance, Arian learned how to read the map, the runes glowing as his fingers traced them. The map pointed him toward the distant peaks of the Kalthor Mountains, where the sword awaited. Selena watched as Arian left the Ghostwood, knowing that his journey would be perilous, but necessary. Chapter 3. The Ascent of Kalthor Mountains. The journey to the Kalthor Mountains was arduous. The air grew colder as Arian ascended the steep, icy slopes. The wind howled through the narrow passes, and the path was treacherous with loose rocks and hidden crevices. Yet, the map's guidance and the glow of the red marks on his skin kept him moving forward. The mountains themselves seemed alive, challenging Arian with every step. At times, thick clouds of mist would roll in, obscuring his vision, or the ground beneath him would shift, forcing him to rely on the map's magic to stay on course. Despite the challenges, Arian pressed on, knowing that his destiny lay at the mountain's peak. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of climbing, Arian reached the entrance to the Cave of Dawn. The cave was hidden between two massive boulders, barely visible to the naked eye. As Arian approached, the red marks on his skin flared brightly, reacting to the ancient magic that protected the cave. Inside, the cave was vast and eerily quiet, its walls lined with glowing crystals that bathed the chamber in a soft, ethereal light. In the center of the cave, atop a raised stone platform, stood the sword, Arias, its blade embedded in a massive rock. The sword glowed with a golden light, just as Arian had seen in his dreams. As he approached the sword, Arian felt the presence of the ancient spirits who had guided him in his dreams. Their voices filled the chamber, and he saw visions of his ancestors, kings, warriors, and sorcerers who had wielded the sword before him. Chapter 4. The Power of Arias. When Arian grasped the hilt of Arias, a surge of power coursed through him. The red marks on his skin blazed like fire, spreading across his body in intricate patterns. The sword recognized its true master, and in that moment, Arian was enveloped in a golden light. As the light intensified, Arian's appearance began to change. His simple clothes transformed into an ethereal armor, forged from the same golden light that emanated from the sword. The armor was adorned with ancient symbols, glowing softly, and a helmet formed over his head, leaving his eyes exposed, now shining with the same golden hue. The spirits of his ancestors spoke to him, revealing the truth of his heritage and the responsibility that came with it. "You are the last of our line, Arian," they said. "Arias is not just a weapon. It is the key to maintaining the balance of the world. With it, you must face the darkness that threatens to consume all." Arian understood that his journey had led him to this moment, where his destiny and the fate of the world were intertwined. The armor, the sword, and the spirits of his ancestors had all prepared him for what was to come. Chapter 5. The Final Confrontation. As Arian emerged from the cave, the sky above the mountain grew dark. Clouds swirled ominously, and the air crackled with energy. At that moment, Malghor, the Shadow King, appeared. He had been waiting, knowing that only Arian could retrieve the sword. as Malghor's bloodline did not grant him access to its power. Malghor stood tall, his presence exuding a malevolent force. His pale face was etched with anger, and his red eyes glowed with hatred. Draped in a dark cloak, his body seemed to merge with the shadows, and around him a swirling mass of dark energy pulsed with life. "Arian," Malghor hissed, his voice filled with disdain. "You have done exactly as I planned. You have found the sword, and now it will be mine. The world will bow to my rule, and all will be darkness." Arian tightened his grip on Arias, the blade humming with power. "You may control the shadows, Malghor, but I will not let you consume the light. This ends here." Malghor's laughter echoed across the mountain. "You are naive, boy. Power is all that matters, and I have more than you can imagine. The sword is but a tool, and you are nothing but a pawn." With a roar, Malghor unleashed his dark magic. The mountain trembled as the ground split open, flames erupting from the cracks. The sky turned a deep blood red as the battle began. Arian, now clad in his golden armor, charged forward. Arias clashed with Malghor's shadow blade, and the impact sent shock waves through the air. The two combatants were locked in a fierce struggle, their powers colliding in a display of light and darkness. The flames around them roared higher, but Arian's armor protected him, its golden light pushing back the darkness. With each strike, Arian felt the strength of his ancestors guiding his hand, and slowly he began to overpower Malghor. Chapter 6. The Final Blow. The battle raged on, but Arian's resolve never wavered. As the fight reached its peak, Arian saw his opportunity. With a final, powerful swing of Arias, he struck Malghor in the heart. The blade pierced through the darkness, and Malghor's red eyes widened in shock. "No, this cannot be." Malghor gasped, his voice fading. "The darkness will rise again. You cannot stop it." With those final words, Malghor's body began to disintegrate, his form dissolving into the very shadows he had commanded. The flames that had engulfed the mountain slowly died down, and the sky cleared, revealing the stars above. Arian stood victorious on the mountaintop, the golden light of Arias still glowing in his hand. He looked up at the now clear sky, the wind gently blowing through his hair. The world was safe for now, but Arian knew that his journey was far from over. The balance had been restored, but as long as there was light, there would always be shadows, waiting to return. With a deep breath, Arian sheathed the sword and stood tall, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. For now, though, he allowed himself a moment of peace, gazing at the stars above, knowing that he had fulfilled his destiny. The end.